Are you having trouble speaking your mind on the internet? Woefully underqualified to talk about literally anything, or just lacking the slightest care to understand a single word that comes out of your mouth? Well, as the internet has gotten bigger to a terrifying degree, there has been a lost art that has become increasingly scarce throughout the internet landscape: the art of lying. See, in the primordial internet, a good percentage of this internet were losers with nothing better to do in their life. So what do? Lie about your life's accomplishments and your certifications. Because who is gonna check and who would care? Not internet strangers, that's for sure. Of course, almost everyone knew that this logic existed, so everyone just assumed everyone was lying. But this flawless and ancient logic has been lost throughout the years, because more and more gullible idiots showed up to the internet lately. And almost in accommodation to these people, we just stopped lying for some reason. For example, I can go on someone's profile and I can see their age, their gender, their exact geographic coordinates, every single possible weakness they've had and will have, their political affiliation, and a list of people that they specifically don't want to interact with them, because all malefactors, when faced with the slightest adversity, will say, "Dang, I can't interact with this person." And people will just read this and assume literally all of it is true. So, if we reintroduce lying into this vulnerable ecosystem, it's easier than being a house cat on the Galapagos Islands. But why should you specifically start lying on the internet? Well, first of all, it's 100% free. It costs $0, 0 cents to lie on the internet. The barrier to entry is ridiculously low, non-existent even. Not only that, but it's ridiculously easy. You can say literally anything and someone is going to believe you. It doesn't matter how ridiculous, factually wrong, or easy to refute these lies are, because nobody's gonna bother to check you. Who has the time for that? Certainly not you. That's why you're lying. Because lying is a great time saver. Instead of actually having to do research and get the facts straight like a fucking square, you could just make shit up and get the same amount of interactions. More if you make it sound good. And honestly, if the big boys on this world wide web are doing it, why can't you? Would you rather be boring as hell and take the moral high ground? Or would you rather have way more fun spreading misinformation on the internet and watching the chaos unfold? Which brings me to my next point. Lying is funny as shit. Because as I said earlier, you can make up the most 100% insane bullshit and someone is going to believe it as 100% fact. And this sets up one half of the funniest conflicts you will ever see on the internet. Rational human beings trying to argue against deranged and insane creatures. And you get to be the Franz Ferdinand of this internet war without anything bad actually happening to you. Because now that blatant lie is not yours anymore, it's theirs. So sometimes you're not even responsible for any of it. But that's only sometimes. Other times you will be faced with the consequences of your actions once people call you out on your bullshit. So what do you do when you get caught? Well, what you don't want to do is admit any fault of your own, because accountability is for fucking losers. And admitting that you made a mistake on the internet is a death sentence. Instead, if the consequences of your actions are finally catching up to you, just ignore them. What are they gonna do? Stop you from lying? Because if you give this kind of situation enough time, more or less depending on how much clout you have, then people will just forget about it. And after you've done your time in the internet shame hole, absolutely no one will care. But maybe you care. Maybe you have feelings of sorrow. You might regret what you did. You might feel ashamed for letting yourself sink so low. And maybe, just maybe, even if no one else remembers this, you remember the lesson that this experience taught you. Don't get caught.